right. Every year the fan side do a mock draft, and I kind of like these good exercises because mock drafts give you an opportunity to review things upon which someone else would look at it. And that's how the Cowboys will draft. It will not be our choices, right? Nevertheless, Reed Hanson's from the fan side. He does a great piece on this one. The Cowboys mock draft first round possibilities with pick number 26. And first and foremost, he got the Dallas Cowboys selecting Keeley Ringo. He's a 6'2" guy with good speed. He's been working out this offseason with Richard Sherman, and the wide receiver he's been working against been the bigger wide receiver DK Metcalf, for those who don't know. So Ringo is a really fast guy, fits right into a cover 3 scheme. If the Cowboys do decide to draft him with the 26th pick, he will be a Dan Quinn type of piece. And I know that we get it. Some people don't like his tape. He's a little boxy. His hips a little stiff. But I think that when you bring him in under Dan Quinn's system and scheme, he'll fit right on there. By the way, Richard Sherman said he reminds him, Keeley Ringo, of Patrick Peterson. Now, you can take it however you want. I'm not saying that he is, but a guy that's been playing in the National Football League for a long time may know a little bit more than we do, especially seeing his man close up. Here, let's go to the second option. All right, so with the second option, you go with Dalton Kincaid, the tight end. Now, one can argue that drafting a tight end in the first round is always taboo, right? You can find help like that in the third and fourth round, guys that have been solid. According to most, when you start doing your research, you'll see that tight ends drafted in the first round tend to not live up to the expectations. And my guy, Boss Cowboys Sports, got a long laundry list of research of guys. And I can tell you, though, Dalton Kincaid, when you look up his resume, you look at his tape, you see a lot of sparks. You see a guy that will fit right into the system that the Cowboys are trying to do with this West Coast. I think that he would immediately bring a lot of attention to that room. Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, they both will have to fight to keep him off the field, right? So iron sharpen iron, steel sharpen steel type of deal. And this dude, I wouldn't look at him only as a tight end. I would look at Dalton Kincaid, the 6'4", 240-pound guy, as a wide receiver. He runs a lot of wide receiver routes. He's bigger and framed than most wide receivers, but he will be running that from the inside of the field, your seams, your skinny posts, your 7 routes. He would do some of those things too. So I would look at him more so of being a weapon. And in this piece, he says Dane Brugler at 25, placing him right at the Dallas Cowboys in the range of the 26th pick, and his value has slipped into minds some lately based on his back injury, right? And that's an alarming number right there. You don't want somebody with back injuries. Nevertheless, developing under the Cowboys in this system, I think that he would not have a horrible year. I think that he would be just okay. Now, moving on to the next person that they have on this list is Bijan Robinson with the 26th pick. Now, I get it. He's not Ezekiel Elliott. That's what most people would think with the 26th pick. But he will be probably the closest thing to an Ezekiel Elliott that we had on this team in a long time outside of Ezekiel Elliott. Now, granted, Bijan Robinson here, he will automatically be considered the next Zeke. And, of course, you know how shoes are being filled around here. Now, he's 6 foot, 220 pounds. Some say he's 215, but what 5 pounds gives, give or take. He missed 39% of missed tackle rate, which is tied for the best since PFF started this in 2014. And he moves like a small, explosive running back. But he's built like a brick house, and he has some speed and elusiveness. We all know, man, the dude is a a legitimate running back. I did a running back list, and I said, okay, he will be a guy that will be tier 1. Everyone else, tier 2s out of this draft. Now, granted, just because you're in tier 1 status doesn't mean that you're a Hall of Famer gold jacket guy. It's just that he can do just about everything you want. Block in the backfield, catch out of the backfield, run in between the splits, bounce it to the outside, and he's good in blocking for your quarterback as well. So he's a most complete back. Now, can you get a little bit more out of other running backs? Yes. I think Jahmyr Gibbs catching out of the backfield, his speed is crazy. You can utilize him more in different ways. So it's just on how you determine how you want your offense to be. And if he falls to the 26th spot, it would not be a horrible one. It will still be a good pickup. My thing is with Bijan, you may get 2 to 3 years max of his max capable abilities or possibilities before you see that decline. Hope he proved me wrong. Nevertheless, that's just how running backs are with his type of build and his skill set. The good thing would be the Cowboys already knowing of this, and maybe they would sprinkle him in with Tony Pollard as well as Malik Davis and Rojo. So that could help out in the long run. Now, moving on to the next person that they have drafted to the Cowboys, one of my dogs over here, Deontay Banks. Just because we got Gilly doesn't mean that you can't look into another DB. Think about this. Gilly is a bridge guy. He is a guy to help whoever we draft or whoever we already have on the team over to the promise area, right? And it could be Trayvon Diggs, it could be Deron Bland, it could be Nashawn Wright, or anybody that we have on this team that falls into the line or into the mind of what Gilly can do. But I will be crazy to pass up on this guy, Deontay Banks. He's a physical DB. He got strong hands. He can redirect you. He got good speed, good size, length, all of that stuff. He will be the future. He will fit right into what Joe Witt Jr. wants to do with this defensive backs, as well as, of course, within the confines of the scheme of Dan Quinn. This dude right here from Maryland, when he hits you, you will feel it. He got the mindset, the right attitude. It'll be hard-pressed to pass up on him. Depending on how the Cowboys got their board, shoo, he's that dog. So that's a great pickup for us in the 26th. You guys know I don't like defense. I love it. And if you bring in this guy with this mentality and this type of thought track, shoo. And this is something that we all like to see. A guy with this type of pedigree, this would bring forth new ideals. And, of course, this could mean that KJ is gone, Kelvin Joseph, for those who don't know. So neither here nor there. Let's move on to the next one, the final in the 5th version of this mock draft that they got with the possibilities. And just keep with an open mind with this one. The Cowboys traded down into the 2nd round, an ideal that floated around on the latest 7th-round mock draft. The link is below somewhere in this article. So with that being said, they got multiple picks. Will McDonald, Steve Avila, and, of course, Osiris Torrance. Those are the 3 names that they got kind of like in this bubble. And some of the early trade down targets will be looking at these guys. Out of this grouping, I like to build from the inside out. I like Osiris Torrance. I do like his skill set, but I think Steve Avila may have a little bit more rangier of feet, right? This particular offensive line will be doing more of pulling. They will have the center to pin to pull, and they will get to the outside and West Coast scheme. And I would think that they would do more of that juxtaposed to what we seen last year. Look, we were ranked bottom half of the NFL in pass block win rate. And a lot of that comes because we are so pass happy and we didn't give no concept, no scheme, no philosophy. We ran out of pass pro. And when you do that, those guards, those interior guys, hey, they want to lean forward, not fall back. And that caused all type of chaoses with this particular offensive line, including the tackles. So if you're going to get either Steve Avila or even Osiris Torrance, regardless, both of those boys are pretty good. They'll plug and play inside, and they will help this team. Now, Will McDonald, wild card, right? Explosive guy that you can put on the edge. It will be a Dan Quinn specialty, a treat for us to see how he can groom and develop him into being an animal. Especially, we like what we've seen out of Sam Williams. We know, we love what we've seen out of my guy, Parsons. So you add Will McDonald to the mix, boy, about 3 to 4 years from now, or even a year and a half or 2 years from now, you would say bye-bye to D-Law, and now you can have a whole different makeshift defensive front. That will be a futures pick, and I think that you would try to have him to grow as fast as possible, but you don't have to rush it, and he will be a guy that can stand tall on his team, man, on the edge to create that pressure. Kind of like a makeshift linebacker, kind of sort of what you do with J-Rock, but even bigger and more athletic. So those are their pickups there, and then they could easily consider tight end Luke Musgrave down the line, who I think that will fit right on in with this West Coast system. I like his tape as well. So, and, of course, that's a tight end that will have to fight for their role. Let's not forget about Sean McEwen. A lot of people sleeping on him, but he's not going to go down without a fight. So you will have Sean McEwen as well as Peyton Hendershot and, of course, Jake Ferguson and Luke Musgrave fighting for that role to be a tight end. And I love iron sharpen iron theory. So within theory, this was the Dallas Cowboys mock draft 5 first-round possibilities. Shout out to Reed Hansen for this article. When you look at everything, any of those guys will help this team out. Try not to look at this draft as an isolated pick. Keep in mind that the Cowboys did a wonderful job of plugging every hole that they had on his team in the free agency. Everything else is just extra icing on the top with a little cherry. So post me your thoughts, post me your concerns down below. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's get it.